What's good, hookers? I'm a literal nerd, and welcome to Reps and Media, the show where I, your favorite hism with the tism, present to you a group of content creators from a certain demographic and ask them a series of questions about said demographic's representation in the media. Today's episode is about South Asians, a very overlooked demographic despite having such a large population. Real quick, I just wanted to let you know, there were a ton of audio problems plaguing this video. Between my microphone not working, to there being construction in the background, yeah, it was a mess to say the least. One more thing before we start, I have written answers from other content creators who sadly couldn't make it to the video but still wanted to participate. I'll be showing them on screen as we answer each question. A special thank you to everyone who took part in this video. They're all amazing and definitely worth your attention, especially my friend Karthik, who helped me come up with these questions. He's a great singer and an even better friend, so I suggest you check him out on TikTok and on Instagram. Without further ado, enjoy the show.
Keke? Oh, sorry, hi. Hello, I'm Keke. Also go by Katura_moon_. Yeah, that's it. On TikTok and Instagram, I am a South Asian cosplayer and I live in Canada.
I guess I'm next. Hey everybody, my name is Vikram Rajan. I usually go by Vikki because it's easier. I am a professional voice actor and director. I've done work in anime, video games, animation, and more. And I'm currently in New Zealand, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, I guess it's my turn. All right. Hey guys, my name's Vic. I call myself the Anime Weeb. I do YouTube. I make YouTube videos talking about anime. I am from India, and yeah, I'm currently in India as well. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Hello, I'm Busham0. I'm a VTuber. I'm an editor. I'm just a super normal guy, and I live in America.
Nice.
Nice to meet you.
Very
All
normal.
right. Extremely normal, man.
Totally.
This sounds like you don't believe me. That's just not true. That's just never happened.
Do they just hack you then? Is that it?
Probably.
Yeah, Elon Musk's cronies? Yeah, the goons. The goons make
There's just no proof. You don't have any.
But okay, let's start off with this first question real quick. So, what can you say about the current state of South Asian representation in the media? Discuss.
I think it's gotten better. Like, at least in what I've seen specifically. So some actresses that I could name that have been blowing up and really showcasing at least my culture a little bit more would be like Maitri Ramakrishnan, Simone Ashley, and Charitra Chandran. So people from Never Ever Have I Ever and Bridgerton. So I think we're having a bit of an uptick in representation.
Yeah, I agree. It's it's definitely a much better than what it used to be. Like if you were to go about like 10 or 20 years ago, it was like a whole nother different ballpark. But now I think it's in a pretty alright place. Obviously there's definitely more to improve and to get better, but as it is right now, I think it's very open for more people like us to actually have a shot and a chance to to tell our stories, but also get to do the cool things and not be like held back by like our skin color or any like biases or like prejudice or anything like that. So yeah, I think it's in a good place right now, and I'm just excited for the future. So, because I think it's only going to get better. Hopefully, touch wood.
Yeah,
I never
think
heard
so.
that. Touch wood. It's knock on
Touch
wood.
wood.
Well, knock on wood. I say touch wood here in Zed, but yeah.
Oh.
we say that too. We say both.
Yeah,
We're
we say
very
that. Yeah, we say
flexible.
that too. Yeah, we say that too here in India as well. We
Oh,
say
hell
touch
yeah.
wood.
Nick, Shammy, do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree with the same thing that everyone's already said, honestly. I think the representation has gotten really better throughout the years. And especially as someone who's watched, like, I think I'm going to be a bit specific with, like, Indian representation, right? Because I've seen there's a lot of characters that has been in media, like Indian characters, like let's say Baljit from Phineas and Ferb, or maybe Apu from like Simpsons and all of that. And there are characters that are pretty stereotypically written and whatnot. And again, some of them just add to that sort of like sorry. Some of them add to the the comedic value of it, but some people take it as like maybe a bit racist or maybe a bit too stereotypical. But I think as times went on, I think we're having a much better representation of Indian characters, and also a lot of like Indian people working in the field as well. So yeah, again, I just think that it's gone a lot better as times have gone, and hopefully it keeps getting better. That's my take.
Okay. Seems like it's
Yeah,
an overall like
Mhm.
positive theme on this. Oh, sorry, Shammy, you were saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, like considering that like the most prominent representation of Filipinos earlier was the Nut Shack, and like
Wait,
the
was it
most-
actually like the TV show The Nut Shack?
the Nut
really?
Shack was made by Filipinos in the Bay Area, yeah.
I didn't
So-
know that. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's about Filipinos in the Bay Area. That was Filipino representation for years, and like
Nice, holy
they
shit.
had Dante Bosco play every race except his own for years as well. So you know, like
That's fair, yeah.
Yo, Stacy, talk to me, baby. Yeah, like, have you guys see the Goofy movie? Yeah, apparently he has one role now. It's just that scene.
Wait,
But,
really?
like, yeah.
He was
Yeah.
the Goofy? What?
Yeah, it's during the speech he's having about like the student council presidents talk about having the power line concert at the beginning of the movie.
I'm
He's just in the
I'm
cloud.
not-
He's
in
yeah,
the
that's
crowd.
right.
Video.
I
But
was
yeah,
not
like
expecting to hear the Nut Shack in the Big 25. So that was awesome. That's
you
awesome.
know, you
I've
have
never
to
heard
cling
of
on to what you can get, man. You never heard of it? Good. But like, yeah, no, it's gone like overall, it's gone a lot better. I think, especially because like, I think they're like Filipino stuff is becoming more trendy. I suppose a lot more people are like getting into not just like the stuff in media, but also like the food. And now now your favorite cooking YouTuber is talking about Jollibee because they found out about it
Yeah.
last week.
Mm,
Mhm.
But yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
Balut
so-
goes hard, man. Freaking love Balut.
This guy's eating chicken feet, duck fetuses, man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, chicken adobo is pretty good as well. I love both of them.
That's such a swing between the two.
No, not really. They're both in the bird kingdom.
Man.
Yeah, okay, all right,
You
we'll
know-
give it to you.
Horse racing, glue munching, they're in the same kingdom, I think.
That's a perfect point to end out this question. Anyone else want to add to it?
This guy heard horses and was like, yeah, it's good.
Literally, I was like, you know what? This is perfect, like to be clipped.
Yeah, first clip farming. That's awesome.
Tamamo Cross
That's, like,
will
literally
save
most
the
of
Philippines.
My, career at this
Yeah.
point. Most of
That's
my
what he's got to do.
most of my
Hey,
career
valid,
dead
man.
ass is clip farming. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Hey, valid man.
Yeah. All right. So then we're gonna move on to the next question, which is, do you think your country specifically is well represented in the media? Discuss.
Hmm.
I wanna
For
say
most of
no.
you, that's a no.
Depends where exactly. If it's like Bollywood, like that kind of scene, I think it's represented pretty damn well. But like if you're talking like the Western side, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Because
Yeah.
like when you have like I think Vic mentioned before, you know, characters like, you know, Battle Chief from Phineas and Ferb, and you also have characters like, I don't know, freaking Chirag from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, like one guy from Big Bang Theory, I think his name was Raj.
Raj.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like when you have those kind of characters that are like purely stereotypical, it kind of sets us back a couple 100,000 years, you know? So, yeah, like I think on the Western side, it's, I don't know, it's getting better, like, cause like I remember when like Across the Spider-Verse came out, and we finally had Pavitra Bavarka
Oh,
and
yeah.
like Indian Spider-Man, you know, and like the mainstream media. That was like a huge surprise because I was advocating for this man for years. So it was, you know, once you know that I remember seeing that, I was like, oh shit, it's time, boys. And like I think ever since then, I think it's slowly been on like the uptick. So it's like I gotta thank my boy Spider-Man. So I appreciate you, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is
Yeah.
literally just like increased like the public perception of a lot of nationalities, specifically just with the Spider-Verse movies at this point.
No, for
Not
sure.
just Spider-Man
Yeah.
movie, Spider-Verse movies. In the main MCU, they got the CEO of Sex, got Filipino representation.
Oh my
The
god.
MCU like low-key pisses me off because they decide to.
This guy
introduce,
heard
like,
there's
one-
Filipino representation and said it low-key pisses me.
Not the Filipino representation, bro.
It's so cooked. It's so cooked.
No, so I talked about this in the last episode about Latino representation, but they have America Chavez, and America Chavez in the comics is Afro-Puerto Rican. They decide to use an indigenous Mexican actress, and
Oof.
she doesn't even feign a Puerto Rican accent. And then when they have her like show her where she's from, her world, it doesn't even look like Puerto Rico. There's a bunch of high grass, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that?
Well, let's.
Oh
be
yeah,
fair.
it's a big old garden. Yeah.
Let's be so fair though. In the comics, she has like a metal ass like, oh yeah, no, my parents are responsible for multi-dimensional travel, and then like their they got exploded. I had to go across the multiverse to find them. And the MCU is like, I saw like a bee. I sneezed a little bit, and then like it launched my parents from the gay dimension, and now they're gone. And I was like, okay, all right.
But enough about me. What about you guys? Vic, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, again, same thing as Vikki said. It's a mixed bag, honestly, because okay, I'm gonna like step away from like total media in general, just to stick to what I know best, and that's anime. And I think one of the most memorable one and the worst one for me was from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 3.
It all goes back.
Yeah, the freaking pig toilet shit that happened that happened. So I think that was in India. I don't remember exactly, but I remember.
Was that India or Egypt? I think it might have been India.
Yeah, it was in India. It was not in Egypt. So I remember watching that, and I was like, "What is going on? First of all, we don't have pig toilets, by the way. That's not a thing." And also, I think a lot of people, especially us Indians, after seeing that, I think a lot of people felt like it was a bit racist, it's not really funny, but okay, I mean, fine, whatever. So yeah, that was one of the first representations that I saw of Indians in anime. But also there's been many others as well, like Fate does it with Indian mythological characters. I think I won't go in deep about it, but I think they're doing a cool job with that. And also you got stuff like Persona and Shin Megami Tensei, bringing in like Indian mythological characters and showing them as well, like with I think in that sense, for me, I find it cool, but again, there's still a long way to go, especially with like whatever the fuck happened with JoJo's. But again, this is just me talking purely just from an anime POV. In media, obviously, I think, again, it's getting better, slowly but surely. But again, you have the characters. Again, I was going to talk about freaking Raj from Big Bang Theory, because I recently rewatched Big Bang Theory, and I was like, man, no, not on purpose. My sister forced me to do that. Oh, man. I'm not a fan of Big Bang Theory.
You mentioned like anime and video games before, with like JoJo's Shin Megami Tensei, and you mentioned like they have like the Indian mythology or a little bit of the culture into the games and stuff like that. But it's weird because I don't know, it's weird, but like they don't normally get like Indian actors like in the dubs like play those characters, which they probably could do now. Like for me, for example, I voiced a character called Ed in Detective Conan, which is like one of the first animes I ever did, and he's an Indian character. So that was like props to the studio for being able to do that. And I hope if not me, like then other like Indian actors are able to like authentically represent like those characters in like the English dubs when they get the chance to, because like those opportunities don't really come super often all that much. But I think it'd be pretty cool, because there's a lot of Indian mythology and like so many different things. But I don't know if people like the general public really like know or want to acknowledge that, So
I think personally, if Mahabharata gets properly adapted into whatever anime, movie, whatever, that would actually go batshit insane. I'm not gonna lie.
If the Mahabharata got the same PR that Journey to the West has gotten, if India has gotten the same PR as fucking Japan, that'd be golden.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Once we get like Bollywood Demon Hunters, it's peak. There's no more racism.
I'm done.
No more racism. No more racism.
Yeah, literally. The honeymoon of racism will be
exactly.
Real quick,
it's gonna get better, and it's gonna get like the racism's gonna tone down, or it's gonna get worse. Either it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. One thing I would add, because we're talking about anime, is so I haven't like read One Piece in a very long time, and I only watch right now the adaptation. I'm waiting for the anime to finish whenever they figure out what the One Piece is. But if you guys haven't heard, one of the actresses I mentioned, Charitra Chandran, she's going to be playing Nefertiti Vivi in season 2, and typically, obviously, she's not typically drawn as a South Asian woman, but she will be. And I saw the backlash on some of the posts, and racism is alive and well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited to see. I'm very excited to see their take on it, and her father in the anime. I forget his name, but he's freaking awesome. And he was in Heroes back in like many decades ago. He was in Heroes. I can't remember his name. He was also in Never Have I Ever. But he's an amazing actor. So I'm very excited to see how they what they do. Do they represent their culture, or are they just people with brown skin that just get seamlessly integrated into One Piece? But yeah, I'm very excited to cosplay her. I can tell you that. Whenever they get her concept out.
Actually,
I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out next year when the season comes out.
Yeah.
Real quick, I actually DM'd her to see if she wants to participate in this.
Oh no way.
Part of my process is to DM some people that are like way above my pay grade.
Shoot your shot, right?
Yeah, because like it's something that you get like once in a lifetime. So it's like.
Did you DM Shah Rukh Khan, my agent?
No, I didn't. I should. I don't know many South Asian actors. It was very funny. I was like telling my my friend Karthik about it, who was gonna be here, but unfortunately couldn't make it. Telling him like, dog, how is the population so big but so hard to find? Like I'm dead ass. Like what the fuck is this? I'm gonna move on to the next question, which is what are some common mistakes that you've seen about South Asian representation in the media that you've consumed? Discuss.
One of the biggest things I always see about with at least with the characters and stuff like that, it's because of the stereotypes and things like that. It creates this weird sort of I don't know, this weird visual that other people have towards people like us, that we're very unappealing, unattractive, and things like that, smelly, whatever, any stereotype in the book, really. And yeah, I don't know, it's that we have strange culture. It's different, but not in a good way different. It's weird. That was the thing growing up at the time. I think now it's definitely a lot less, unless you go into TikTok, where it's definitely still alive and kicking, for sure. But yeah, it's that kind of stuff. I think right now, and I think in the future, those kind of mistakes and things like that are being fixed. It's definitely a lot of fixing to do, but yeah, it's but those things, as many people may or may not know, it is very harmful when you grow up with that stuff. For me personally, I grew up, not really liking my name or my skin color and things like that because of the media I consumed, because it was it kind of made you feel ostracized and out an outcast because you're not like everyone else or normal, so I kind of didn't want to be associated with it.
I had a lot of people in my last episode that were talking about the same thing, that they were ashamed of their own lineage or nationality because it was not represented in the media.
Yeah, exactly. So my only hope is in the future, as more brown kids around the world grow up and with watching media, that they don't feel they can feel comfortable in their own skin, and they don't have to worry about not being well, quote unquote normal, because that has a lot of implications to it. But yeah, as long as the kids now and the people in the future, and even people now, as the time goes on, that if we can just I'm gonna pull a Katy Perry here and be if we can just coexist, that'd be perfect.
Yes, world-renowned scientist and a fucking politician, Katy Perry.
Oh yeah, well she did go to space
recently.
She did,
and she's currently dating. She's dating our ex-prime minister right now.
Oh yeah,
very topical.
Oh, I thought she was with Orlando Bloom.
Oh,
what happened?
That ship has sailed a long time ago, buddy.
Yeah, man, you're behind on this shit.
Well, yeah,
on the Katy Perry news.
I haven't. Well, to be fair, I haven't heard about Katy Perry since 2016, so it's been a bit.
That's right. That was the last time she was actually relevant. Wait, what?
Yeah, it was swish.
It's not a controversial statement, man. You could just say that.
Yeah, but yeah, as I was saying before, back in the past, it was super harmful growing up because of those stereotypes. But now, I think it's in a different place, and I think as things get better, I can only hope that those mistakes and stuff don't really happen again, that kind of stuff.
Vic, you mentioned earlier, in the last question about that you kind of touched on this subject. Could you further elaborate on that?
That is which one? Sorry.
So you had mentioned earlier that that when I asked like, is your country well represented, you said that something along the lines of, no, it's not well represented, or the depictions are like actually kind of racist.
No, I said it's a mixed bag because again, it's getting better as time's going on.
Yeah, it
but
is.
yeah, but I just pointed out a very prominent one that I thought was not that great. And again, I think what Vikki said is what I would have to say as well, because again, with common mistakes, obviously it's the, sort of like, I think you go to Instagram, you see all the shit that's been talked about Indians and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're smelly, they're cow dung eating, blah blah blah, and all that shit, right? It's not a thing. It's just dive deep enough. You'll see. Also, of course, scammers. There's the funny.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
But what
Yeah,
about in
that's
like
where-
shows that are in anime? Like, have you seen like any common mistakes made? Like anything in particular?
I mean, in anime, again, I can just go to freaking JoJo's and talk about the freaking pig toilet. I think that's the one prominent one that I remember. But I think other than that, I think there isn't much Indian characters for me to go off about, so that I can be like, oh, there's this mistake of how they're like shown or whatever. But yeah, it's like, again, with anime, I think it's very hard to talk about and just be like, oh, this is something that they're doing wrong, because again, they're being represented in like, okay, let's say for example, we're taking a character like, there was this Indian guy, I forgot his name, I think from Darker Than Black, there was this Indian guy, and he's just a character in it, right? He's just, I think, one of the villains that they had, and that's it, and he did not play any prominent role in it. And I feel like, and it's the case with a lot of these characters where they're just in there and they're still being told in the way that the Japanese know, right? And they're just in the story. There's no real like showcase of any of the culture and whatnot. I think the closest one that I could say that showcases our culture a bit, maybe something like, again, Fate doesn't do it as much, because I remember in like Fate Apocrypha, that was the first time that I ever seen like Indian character of sorts, and that was Lancer of Red. And he was like, again, he's from the Indian mythology. Again, there isn't much depth to his character other than, oh, he's super powerful, he's someone that follows his heart, and that's about it. There's no like backstory about who he is, what he is, or whatnot. So there's not really much of a sort of like showcase of who we are as Indians and whatnot. So yeah, it's not as easy as to answer like for me, like especially from an anime POV about like common mistakes that I see. But again, I think what Vikki said earlier, that I think that is pretty spot on, I think.
Okay. What about you, Shammy? Can you think of anything in particular?
Like in terms of media, I guess, like I said, the biggest, like there isn't really anybody talking about like a lot of Southeast Asian stuff, because again, unless you're one of the big three hashtag acceptable Asians, they're not really gonna talk about you all that much. Like like it's happening again. If you see anything on like anything that's been happening on Twitter recently, even just like these guys, like with the whole like, oh, it's disgusting to eat rice with your hands
the
thing.
fucking racist.
Oh my.
Motherfuckers like just talking shit about.
Oh
motherfuckers for eating
yeah,
rice with
holy
their hands.
shit. Yeah,
Unfortunate.
that's like another common thing I see. Like you mentioned like the big three before, but like I don't know, there's like this
What are
weird
they?
double
Just
standard.
Korea, Japan.
It's just Korea, Japan, and China, dude. It's the only
Yeah.
three that's like that like most people will even talk about. Even then, like a few years ago, it was only big two. Like it was just Japan and
I wonder
China.
when K-pop really started popping off. No pun intended.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It's like this weird double standard towards like it's okay. It's like it's okay, quote unquote, to be racist like brown Indian people and stuff like that. It's
There's
it's
that
really-
meme for a while. It's like when people say they want to be Asian and then they wake up as Malaysian, dude. They're like, no, not this. Why did it
Oh my
wrong,
god.
dude?" And it's like, yeah, and that's really the problem, is that like most people's perspective is outside like of like what Asians are is just Japanese because of anime and samurai movies, and China because of kung fu movies and pop culture. And
Yeah.
in the 2010s, then it was K-pop.
Yeah.
So like only recently are the wider range of people being aware of like, because like India was known, but like it wasn't really much of a focus anyway. Because like even then, when some people say Asian, they don't mean Indians, and like they exclude it from the category. And then like people don't know what a Filipino is. They don't know what they've heard of Vietnamese people before. But they like there's Thai, but all these other different Southeast Asians, they're not included in that conversation. And it's just because of like, it's not like I don't even know if it was not trendy or if it's just like there wasn't a lot of focus. But even then, like you had people like, again, one of the only prominent Filipino actors, Dante Bosco, was playing American Dragon Jake Long, a Chinese kid in New York. And then you had like, I don't know, like what other Filipino representation could there even be? Like we had Lea Salonga,
who isn't any. I mean, there is some like Southeast Asian influences in Avatar, but to quote a YouTuber with like way more subscribers than I have, saying that Avatar is Asian representation is like saying Lord of the Rings is like white European representation.
No, that's fair. I was gonna say as well. I remember this was like late 2020. This was like when, you know, the hashtag Stop Asian Hate was like a trend at the time, or was trending at the time. You know, like, you know, it was like you said, it was like the big three that was getting like most of like the attention being, you know, put towards them. And I definitely think it in the long run definitely helps a lot in terms of like, you know, making sure they're represented well in media and everywhere, and even in life in general. But the other Asian groups out there got nothing, dude.
Yeah.
It was kind of insane. And like I think people forget that Asia is like a big continent. It's like there's multiple billions of people. Yeah. It's one of the largest ones, if not the largest, with billions of people.
Isn't it the largest? Like, you're not gonna say Europe is a continent is the biggest one. We're side note, Europe is a fake continent. I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
Well, it depends which one's the one that Russia's in. Like that one's pretty big. So
yeah, but Russia started off in Europe and they just colonized all of North Asia.
You can answer that. It's Asia. Russia's in Asia.
Exactly,
oh shit!
yes.
No, fair enough. Okay, we're the biggest then. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, the answers have been going on for 12 minutes. Keke, do you have anything to add to this before we move on?
No, I think I actually didn't have a lot that I could think of for this question, so this has been a good conversation to learn.
Okay. Then we're gonna move on to the next question, which is, did you ever see any South Asian characters in the shows you watched growing up? Discuss.
Yeah, we kind of touched upon it before with like both in live action and live action animation. I know Apu from The Simpsons is quite kind of a, I don't know, controversial figure. I mean, it was weird because like they kind of wrote him out of the show of The Simpsons instead of like recasting him to like an Indian actor. So it was weird because like when Family Guy recasted Cleveland, they went with Ezzers, who's a black voice actor, but
yeah, but
Apu just got written out.
What the fuck is his name? The guy that made the Devil May Cry anime for Netflix.
What's his name?
He has a lot of pull
I know
in the animation industry, it seems like. And he made this one think piece, I think it was. That was basically like stating why Apu is racist.
Yeah. And he's not wrong, you know.
The show entirely.
Yeah, and he's not wrong. There's a lot of damage that Apu indirectly brought towards like the culture, based on like a lot of things. But even despite that, you know, when I was watching, at least, I didn't really think much of it at the time because I still like Apu. Apu is like still one of my favorite characters from The Simpsons because there is more to him outside, you know, the Indian jokes and the stereotypes. There's layers to him once you get to know him. It just sucks that the stereotypes and stuff is like the first impressions you get of him instead of like him as a character first.
Right.
So that's at least in my opinion, you know. So like, while I don't hate Apu or anything like that, and I can acknowledge he did a lot of damage for sure, but like at the end of the day, like he is a character, and he has definitely a lot more to him once you watch more and you can look past the Indian stuff, like the jokes, which is kind of hard because it's mainly like it was kind of like his main shtick for a while. But even with other characters like outside of Apu, like Baljeet or Chirag from Diary of a Kid or something like that, or Raj from Big Bang Theory, you know, there's like little things here and there which you know, there are actually really endearing like character traits. I just wish they weren't like locked behind like the stereotype first. You know what I mean? I think nowadays, like it's not really. I don't think it's like that much of a thing unless it's like part of the story. Like I know for like I don't remember what it's called. It's one of the Netflix shows. It might be Never Have I Ever. It's and you can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I know like cultural stuff plays a lot into like those types of shows. But like it's supposed to be like an endearing way because like that is just her culture and how she's growing up with it. Which, if told in a nice way, I think that's totally fine. But if you're telling it in a way that's gonna be like a joke or a punchline, then that's a bit damaging and a bit offensive. But it really just depends on how you portray those characters. Which, as long as you're not being offensive, which is pretty easy to do, then I think you'll be fine.
So well spoken. How the fuck are you not a politician?
I'd rather not. I'd rather just stick to voice acting. Politician is not on the cards for me.
Fair. Anyone else want to add to this?
No, I think that was a nuanced take. It's whether or not really if we can reclaim it as our own, and it's not poking fun at something that we haven't chosen to poke fun at.
Right. Well, what would you? I guess in that term, that would be like a different question. But like, what kind of stereotypes are you referring to, like when it comes to reclaiming?
So he spoke about Never Have I Ever, and like something I would touch base on is they always talk about how South Asians are pretty big nerds, which I think is true. We are, and in the show they do talk about like making sure she has good grades and everything because it's a young girl in high school that is growing up in South Asian family, and so I think they did a great job of explaining how strict our parents can be and how education focused they are, because they are, but when we talk about it, it's kind of like we're reclaiming it instead of someone poking fun at the fact that we're wearing glasses and we're constantly, talking about school or whatnot. So I think that's what I mean by reclaiming. Like, we are huge nerds. I'm a huge nerd. I tell everyone I'm a huge nerd. And I used to have glasses. So kind of playing into my own stereotype.
My Quagsire has glasses.
Represent.
Yeah.
Hey, big up Quagsire.
Quag. Shammy, do you have anything to add to this?
I think they've said everything that I really wanted to say, to be honest. So I'm just gonna not gonna add much, and no comments on this one. I think I'll just give it to Shammy. I think
they pretty much said the majority of it. Yeah.
All right.
Alright, in that case, we're just going to finish this question early and then move on to the next one. Let me just pull it up real quick. So, what niches do you see the most and least representation? And what I mean by that is, what fields do you mostly see South Asians represented in? Like, as in, do you see South Asians mostly in cinema, in music, TV shows, in comics, what have you?
I think nowadays... well, I guess it also depends, like, your scope as well, because, like, if it's, like, the Western media, I think nowadays you'll mainly see it in, like, more TV shows now, more often, but, like, on the other side, like, if you were watching in India, music videos go hard over there, and movies go hard over there, too. You'll see a lot more in, like, film, TV, and, like, I also voice in, like...
They go kind of crazy.
Yeah, and at the moment I'm voicing in like in India's first ever manga and anime. So like the anime scene is slowly building up at the moment. But yeah, it also depends on your scope. But, T-series, they've got the music scene on lock. So like over there, so like they're good. I think they overtook PewDiePie, right? So I think they've got hold, man.
Like that.
But yeah, I think it's nice to see that. That TV and film is like more accepting of that nowadays, even in the Western side. But in terms of like comics and game, I think games definitely has a lot too. But in terms of like comics, like anime and like maybe animation as well, I think animation's also I forgot to mention animation like definitely has a little more to it nowadays too, which is great. But in terms of like comics and stuff, there's not a lot. Even with like games and stuff like that, like you can't really name like a whole bunch, but I feel like it's getting better because if you would have asked me like right now, the only one I could probably think of is like Dulcim from Street Fighter, and he still isn't voiced by an Indian guy yet. So maybe eventually in the future.
Wait,
But
really?
no, he's not. But
That's
to be
crazy.
fair though, I love both of the actors that voiced him in Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 6. I think they do an amazing job. But
It's crazy.
But
Like,
that's
Street
like-
Fighter and Street Fighter 6, they decided to like recast all of them except Juri and Ryu.
yeah. Some of them just didn't want to come back, and just some were busy, and some just got recast for other reasons. But even with some of the DLCs, Bison and Sagat, and Viper, they're still the same actors as before. Even Rashid, which I was really surprised because Rashid's actor is really white, but he's a cool guy though. He's a nice guy. But I was really surprised. But he still does a great job. But yeah, no, I think it's getting better slowly. I think it's gonna be more of a slow, gradual kind of, I guess, improvement over time. But I think with in certain medias and things like that, I think there's a decent amount to work with, which is really great. So which only is indicative of the future, when there's more things. I mean, depending on AI and things like that, but we won't talk about that
Oh,
today.
God.
But yeah.
Fucking AI industry, fuck them. Hey, a little editing nerd here. So my PC's internal mic didn't pick up what I was saying, but I was basically talking about my friend Karthik. So, he does music on TikTok and on Instagram. And he's Indian, but he's second generation. So, he is in this weird intersection of not being Indian enough, his words, not mine, for other Indian artists that are maybe first generation or just straight up from India, and not being American enough for working with other Americans.
Yeah, that could be really
I don't
tough.
see, much India definitely pops off when it comes to music, but they don't have much representation. India doesn't have much representation here in the West.
I think if you were to take recent years, a film like RRR, which is a great film by the way, that was I was surprised when that became mainstream. People were doing it at the Oscars and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, which is nice because there definitely is a space for it, which it just wasn't before. So it just kind of it's kind of nice, and it kind of proves that if something is really really good and really well made, it will definitely get the attention it deserves, and it's not based on any prejudice or anything like that. So I think that's really good because it gives more people time to lock in and make some really cool stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Big Shammy and Keke, do you have anything to add to this?
I did. I wanted to say that in terms of where I see the most representation would be sort of in Netflix. They've got their own thing, but Netflix has, they've opened up international movies and TV shows, so everyone can kind of get to it. So that's pretty cool. But also just some of the shows that I've mentioned, they're from Netflix, like Never Have I Ever and Bridgerton, and even One Piece is coming from there, and Simone Ashley being super popular right now after Bridgerton. She's acting in, I watched another movie that she acted in, which I cannot remember the name of right now, but just having these actresses, at least for what I know, actresses launching into stardom because of Netflix has helped kind of expand our knowledge, because they can bring their influence, if possible, with the director into other shows and other movies. So I think that's where we'd see the most representation is in TV shows, or made to TV movies from Amazon Prime.
Right.
And then least would be, and I'm sure Vic could probably talk on this as well, is in anime. I personally didn't know any representation in anime, specifically coming from Japan.
South Asian representation I can think of from anime that I have seen is that one guy from Black Butler.
Oh, friggin' no, Prince Soma. I love Prince Soma. My friend Abi Kumar voices him because he got it's a legacy role because the original actor passed away a while ago, but I think if he was but it's really nice because a lot of general consensus is if he was alive today, he would have been super happy to see the role go to an Indian actor. And so I don't think Abi was able to make it here, but big up Abi Kumar, man. He's great. I think him and myself, it's weird because I think right now we're the only few Indian voice actors consistently voicing in anime nowadays, but maybe that number will get bigger over time. But it's an honor, really. It's really sick.
Okay. What about you, Shammy?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like it's like it's in terms of like what I've said. It's just that every single niche that I've seen just kind of gets like glossed over. None of my Filipino media ever gets talked about ever. Like, sure, they have like certain actors, but there's no like any of that, like any like Filipino dramas being shown anywhere. No one's talking about it. Filipino music isn't even like really necessarily popular unless you're like listen to like some stuff and like I don't even want to say like 88 Rising adjacent stuff, like nothing like that. Like it's pretty much just I think a bunch of actors are there and some little sprinkles of it of like the culture there here and there, but otherwise nothing really in terms of like with what media is represented or niches. I feel like the whole like nerdy thing is more like a general sort of like stereotype of all Asians. And like that's been slowly dying out from what I've seen as they're just giving more comedic roles. I think that's like a trend since like 2010s. I think that like you've seen a lot less like, but now it's like spiraled, and now like every single Asian character is just a burnout or like angry instead.
I've noticed
there's a lot more of that.
Which is burnouts or angry.
I mean, I'm burnout and angry, so that makes sense.
Honestly, same.
Real.
Not valid. I do want to ask though. This might be a bit off topic, but like when you see like this for you specifically, when you see like I don't know, like actors or singers be like, oh, by the way, I've been a quarter or half Filipino this whole time. Like they mention it like now instead of like way early in the past. I just wonder why that is.
Okay.
Is that
common?
You want to know why?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The reason is because it's like because it's trendier now, but also I'll be so honest with you, Filipinos don't care as long as they see they don't care as long as they see someone who is represented, right? It's like they'll sit there and all of a sudden someone will mention, oh, by the way, I'm Olivia Rodrigo and I'm like half Filipino. It doesn't matter anymore. Now she's a Filipino rep. She's basically the same as Manny Pacquiao. And they turn
fair enough.
like Bruno Mars was like people thought he was black. People thought Bruno Mars was black, and nah, that's a Filipino man, dude. That's a Filipino man from Hawaii. Like, yeah, that's right.
He's mixed as all hell.
Yeah, but that's
he's apparently like Jewish as well, but like more like
he's everything, but he's not black, dude.
Literally.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Is that it is just interesting because. To be fair, like if a lot of the ones up there are more mixed, but like it is more of a thing of like we'll just take what we can get at this point. Right. They've always kind of been like that, and like I don't know, it's just a little more niche, I would say. It's on the come up, but
I have some insight on this actually. So this something similar happened with the actor Frankie Muniz. He's half Puerto Rican actually. His last name is Muniz. Spelled with the N that has a little squiggly on it. But to make himself more palatable to Western audiences at the time, he had to change his last name. And because he's a white Latino, it just worked out for him.
No, that's
like,
interesting.
People just like hide their actual ethnicity to get like additional roles because there is such a thing as being racially ambiguous.
Oh, for sure.
People that are white passing will try to take advantage of that.
Yeah, but like it's even like I think it's also just common practice for like a lot of like actors and.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. Anyone want to add to this before I move on to the next question?
Yeah, I was gonna say like because like Snoop Dogg is not, his name isn't Snoop Dogg, his name's like Calvin something. So like it's so it's like
that's just like a pseudonym though. It's not like Lady Gaga. Or it's like Lady Gaga.
Yeah, no. I mean, even Lady Gaga, even when she does like movies and stuff, she still goes under like Lady Gaga.
Yeah. But that's different. That's not to make them like more palatable to Western audiences. That's just like a a pseudonym.
Oh yeah,
no,
for sure.
Yeah, stage name. That's the word. Thank you. Right.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna end this question off here, and with the halfway point, the sixth question, which is, do you view representation as somebody from your culture promoting / showcasing their culture in some way, or do you think just being a face of your culture is a niche and a representation. So this is something that my friend Karthik came up with when he was helping me come up with questions. And what he meant by this was, if you see, like, let's say, Vic or Vikki, you two being Indian, and you see Kumail Nanjiani being a Pakistani actor, playing an Indian role. Like, how do you feel about that? Do you see that as representation for your country? Do you see that as representation for South Asians?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. That's a good question and a tough question to answer, honestly.
I feel like
We have to deal a lot with that with the Latino representation video, because that was very common. That was a very common sentiment.
well, I guess with the example you gave, I think that would sort of fit under like the South Asian bubble more than like the Indian bubble, which is interesting because like I know he's played like Indian roles in the past, or at least Indian inspired in the past, because I don't think Hollywood. I don't think exactly, so because I don't think Hollywood knows the difference between Pakistani and Indian quite yet. But
I'm
like
sure like most Americans can't even locate Pakistan in a world map.
no, for sure. But like there is like a lot. But even so, there is like a lot of like overlap and similarities between Pakistan and India as well.
Well,
so
that's fair.
I can
They're
understand.
right next to each other. And if I'm not mistaken, Pakistan
there's-
was at one point a territory within India.
Yeah, now they just hate each other. It's weird. I think it's over water or something. But like, but yeah, no, there is genuinely a lot of overlap considering how close they are. So in this instance, even if it is like an Indian role, like technically it wouldn't be, but considering like everything, I'm okay. I can let it slide. I can give it the pass, and I think as a whole, it does serve like the South Asian representation bubble more, and the more that happens, the more like sort of subsections we kind of create from that, so that maybe in the future it can be more specific for specific groups if they want to go that way, or I guess even leave it open ended if it's like South Asian, as like just South Asian as like the role or whatever. It allows more opportunity for people of basically of the entire South Asian bubble, which are hundreds, thousands, if not billions and millions of people, to like get those kind of opportunities. So yeah, I think it could be. I think it is a good thing to have like people, be like, yeah, as you say, like a face, or like a nice little promotion of your culture in a nice way. Because it shows that a lot of people that people like you, or who look like you, or resemble you, or have the same skin color as you, like can like do it, and it's not just a fluke, and it's like, and it can be like a very common thing. So it pushes more people to pursue whatever they like instead of like being forced or pressured to do the safe option because of how the world used to work. So yeah, I think that's a really good thing. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about it.
Okay. Vic, you said that this was a loaded question, and I'm dying to know your thoughts on it.
Honestly, Vikki just took the answers right out of my mouth. I can't
This is why
add
we
any
should
more
be
to
on
this.
at this point.
Oh man, that's a dangerous route, man. I don't know if I should
I
do
know
that.
No.
it is, but like you're so well spoken.
That's because I speak for a living. I promise I'm not a politician.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. I don't blame you. I yap for a living.
Not fair, man.
Alright, Keke, Shammy, any thoughts?
I think it's the latter for me, to go back to your question, I want to see people that represent, large groups of different minorities, including my own, just doing a role. Like, they don't have to specifically be showcasing my culture, but as long as they're getting opportunities as well to be out there, it makes a big difference. I think representation is being able to see different faces and learning from their experiences in the media. And if we get to see part of their background, their history as well, like that's great. I learned a lot from Miss Marvel about like the Pakistani-India conflict that I didn't know, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like we need more of that.
I actually really like her first run in the comics. I actually own a physical copy of it.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish Kamala Khan had her actual powers in the MCU, but apparently it would mix with Mr. Fantastic a little bit, so I can understand. The budget might be a bit too much.
Okay, but still, like they did Kamala Khan dirty for a white man.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if Mr. Fantastic dies, you'd be like, wait a second, Kamala Khan's got stretchy powers. Woo.
Ooh, wiggles.
I mean, if they kill off Mr. Fantastic and just make him the maker, like, and just, oh, dude, that would be sick. I would love that.
Okay, Marvel fanfiction aside at this point. DC fanfiction rather. Shammy, do you have anything to add to this before we move on to the next question?
No, I think we covered most of it for the most part from what,
All right, but then I'm gonna pull up the next question, which is, what is the value of having South Asian culture represented in the media? You kind of touched up on this with this previous question. Could you please elaborate?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to kind of being able to see people that look like me in the media that, I mean, I didn't think or I didn't know how much that would be impactful until I saw it myself, and like starting with Never Ever Ever and seeing like Tamil culture being portrayed, and I'm Tamil Sri Lankan, so seeing even a little bit of my culture being portrayed was like, wow, like I can understand what they're saying and I can relate because my mom has said those things to me, or I've thought those things about myself or whatnot, right? So I think that it made such a big difference to see that, and it was way more wonderful and empowering than I expected it to be, and it was and if that's how just I felt, I can't imagine how other people feel when they see themselves being represented. Like I learned a lot about myself in other parts of my, like not just my background, but my personality, my thoughts and everything from media. And so I think it makes such a big difference that we don't even realize until we get to experience it ourselves.
That's so cool that you were able to like find that within media, like at least like one piece of media, you're able to find like culture, like exactly represented. Not exactly, but like still represented.
Yeah, exactly. It was surprisingly like emotional.
Yeah, I feel that because whenever we see a Puerto Rican actor, we just start popping off. We're like, he's Puerto Rican, let's go! This one for us!
Yeah.
Alright, Vikki, Nick, Shammy, any thoughts?
Everything that Keke said was just right on the money, honestly. But I will say as well, if you wanna talk about like the superficial or business side of it, there's billions of South Asian people out there. So I just don't see the point of like constantly ostracizing them for your own gain, or for a cheap joke, or to like run like a specific narrative. Like it's 2025. A lot has changed from like 2004 to now. For example. So yeah, so like there's obviously like representation in your youth. When you miss out on something like that, you can feel, I don't know, I guess lonely in that sense, especially if you don't have like any people in the same race as you around you. Right. But even on the business side of it, the boring business side of it, nothing wrong with the more people you show that you care, the more that they'll be invested and intrigued into like participating, and the more they're invested, it creates more opportunities for more stories, and more stories means more inspiration, and more inspirations means other things. So it's like a weird, it's a weird little cycle. I don't want to get too corporate-y because I'm not a corporate person at all, but I just see like the trends, once something happens, things happen afterwards and inspires the next things from great stories and great writing and things like that. So when you get to be in the position to have the opportunity to do that, I think you should definitely do that. Not only it will help a lot of people, but it will, I guess, maybe help you financially if you run it, if you decide to run it. But even if you don't, even without the financial stuff, telling a good story and just doing cool things because you want to do it, because you genuinely want to, is, I think that's more than enough, honestly. And I think that's great. I think it's really great.
Aw, Shammy, Vic, any thoughts?
Sorry. So yeah, earlier Vikki talked about this and about how like more South Asian representation. I think we would get more subcultures, like the subcultures and all of that. And I actually agree with, that's what I think as well, because I think like the more that for me personally, like whenever they represent, especially like a brown character, especially from like the Indian side of things, and a general audience look at it and they're like, oh, he's Indian. Maybe he's not Indian. Maybe he's Pakistani. Maybe he's Sri Lankan, Bangladeshi, and maybe even Nepali. Who knows, right? And I just personally think that with more representation, I think there should. I think that we need to like create more awareness for the people, for the general audience that are watching, to have an idea of all of these cultures and just not generalize everything. And also earlier, I think the point was brought up about like I think Vikki brought it up as well about like not about being, let's say, not proud of our color or how we feel, and because of the sort of like lack of representation. And so I think that with more representation, I think all of the Indian people, or even South Asian people, like in general, right, we all feel like, I think it's pretty cool that we're getting represented. It's cool that we're getting shown to the people out there. I think that's about it. That's my answer.
Any thoughts, Shammy? Oh no, he died.
Yeah, no, he died. It's over.
Oh, shit. Who else will I have ice
That's
cream
good.
with?
I mean, yeah, it's like the same value as like having any other culture represented. It's just like having someone represent you up there. That's why, like the question earlier, is like if like even though like, people will have like, oh yeah, sure, she's only a little part Filipinos, like it still matters though, even if it's just seeing a little bit of it, right? At least there's one rep out there. I just think that like it's just regarding the like the whole like profitability thing. Yeah, there's a lot of people who would do it, but like the whole of like most markets are just so West centric that like they don't really care. Yeah, so it would just be more of a matter of like proving that it's popular to the general, to what they consider the general audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which kind of blows, honestly. Any additional thoughts before we move on to the next question?
No, I'm all good.
Alright, the next question is, what is the best representation of your country in the media? Now this can be a character, a celebrity, anything as long as it relates to the media. Discuss.
Oh, the entirety of RRR for sure. Hell yeah. The entire 3 hours plus of RRR.
What's
My god.
RRR? I'm so confused.
RRR is one of the greatest
it?
pieces of cinema ever created, is what it is.
Yeah, man, dude, you gotta check it out if you haven't already. Dude,
I've seen that movie with in a showing with SS Rajamouli like multiple times. It's on Netflix, but if you want to watch, if you want to watch it like
on Prime as well, maybe.
If you watch on Telugu, the original language it was filmed in, you could just like you have to find it
I prefer
elsewhere.
to do that. I'm a sub.
That-
I'm more of a sub guy than a dub guy.
No, it's fair. You can if you watch. It depends. If you watch multiple versions, you can get.
Dubs, but yeah, I'm more of a sub.
I mean, if you watch multiple versions of RRR, you can get Natu or Nacho. Like you can get multiple versions, and it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like when you get to Natu, like Natu is a banger. My god, all the songs in there are great. It's dude, RRR has everything in terms of like, I don't know. It's like you could I just imagine all of Bollywood into one film, but it shows like these Indian characters, being badasses, being cool, having really deep and thought-provoking stories, that aren't stereotypes, and yeah, dude, it's great. Like they made something really, really cool, and I'm glad it got like so much great attention. Like the Oscars noticed it, and like made it mainstream as well. So like. Dude, it did wonders, so so I'm a little bit biased in saying that though, and I think RR has like everything perfect for me at least about like the current modern day like Indian culture that is great in the world where it came from, like I guess the eastern side, but also the western side, like everyone who speaks English or is like in America or whatever, like they love it too. So like it's across borders, and it's really cool, very epic.
Is RRR, like Vic, correct me if I'm wrong, is RRR not like Tollywood? Like is it Tollywood, not Bollywood, right?
It's Tollywood, yeah.
Hollywood. Oh, my bad, gang.
Okay, so basically, in each of our in India, like in each of our states, we have like our own sort of like movie industry. In general, it's Bollywood, but it's more so not Bollywood. Is mostly okay. From where I'm from the south, so I would consider that everything above me is pretty much north. But yeah, Bollywood mostly consists of like all the Hindi movies and stuff, and then you got stuff like Tollywood, which is like I think Telugu. That's more Telugu, Mollywood, which is Malayalam, and all different. Yeah, again, because that India is so diverse with its languages and with its cultures, we also have our sort of like different industries for each movies and whatnot. So RRR is not exactly a Bollywood movie; it's more of a Tollywood movie.
Yeah, my bad. I thought it was one of the two. I was trying to remember if it was Bollywood or Tollywood. My bad, gang.
Nah, it's all good.
I wonder if there's Sollywood for Sanskrit. There's gotta be, right?
Maybe for the ancient time, shit. I thought Sanskrit was a dead language. Does anyone speak it?
For prayer,
yeah.
maybe.
We learn it. We learn it. We don't speak it.
Yeah.
Because
priests do,
prayers
guys.
and stuff.
Yeah, for prayers they do.
yeah, it's like again, it's not generally spoken because again, people have. It's just funny because in India, like especially if you go down to the south, people don't speak Hindi that much. We mostly prefer speaking our mother tongue, which is whatever regional languages, and English mostly. And so yeah, in that case, adding Sanskrit to the mix would be horrible, honestly. So yeah, no, we don't speak it that much. But yeah.
Okay. I had no
Also,
idea.
adding-
It was
so-
just a completely dead language like Latin or like.
No, it's not dead. It's not dead. We like for me, like when I was in college, I had to like we had the option to learn Sanskrit. I just didn't choose it. I was like, nah, I'm just sticking to English or some shit. But yeah, also I'm going off of Vikki's point about RRR and Tollywood and stuff. So the thing is, I grew up in the south of India. I'm not going to specify where it is exactly, and because the culture in every single place is so different, like a lot of the representation or things that you see in a lot of the Western media is mostly like a generalized representation of Indians in general. So one of the coolest. Not representation, but more so like a nod to us that we had, especially from anime of all things, was in Food Wars Season 2. There was this character, I forgot his name. I think his name was I forgot the guy's name.
Fucking representation in Food Wars of all anime.
I know. No, it's actually. Let me just pull it up because it's been a while since I saw this scene, and I recently saw this, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a thing from our stuff. So let me just find it. I'll
Vic, when
talk
you're done,
about.
I have something to say about that too.
Yeah. So in Food Wars, there's this character. I think his name was. Fuck! I keep forgetting. I'm blanking out on names because this is a character. I think he was introduced in season 2. I think, and
Yeah, it's on my list of like shows to watch.
it's fine. It's fine.
It's
Yeah,
okay,
Akira.
man. I don't think people watch Food Wars with the characters. It's more for
Yeah,
food.
like, okay, my ex used to watch Food Wars, and he just talk. All he would talk about is how people's clothes would pop off.
No, he's not wrong.
And I was like, wait,
Food
what?
Wars used no.
Hey,
so
the food
Wars
is
used to
the
be
food is that good.
It used to be good. Like it is genuinely a very good, like sort of like sports type series adjacent. And then the final season didn't happen, and it's so crazy how it ended after the train arc. That's just where the story ended. Like
Would you
there's
prefer
no
to read the
more
manga or
Shokugan.
watch the anime?
Oh, bro,
I'll read
like
the manga.
either one is just after like you have to stop reading after a certain point apparently because like it it just kept going for no reason. Somebody kept writing extra chapters after the train arc. You just gotta stop reading. Nothing else happened, you know. There was no weird incest like NTR arc that happens in Shokugeki no Soma. No, that never happened. As long as you stop reading after the train arc.
I have not gone past that, by the way. I think I watched like. Yeah, I've not gone there. I think I dropped out.
Oh no, I haven't either. I had a friend who was like read the whole thing, and I started watching the final season. And I was like, oh, that's what. Yeah, I'm good.
I literally dropped the final season after 2 episodes. I was like, nah, I think I'm good.
It's crazy how they're cooking with food. Now they're cooking with genetics. No, that's crazy.
That's
Oh my god.
Damn.
All right, I'm out of here, dog. Nice to know you. Wait, Vic, were you able to find the thing you were talking about?
So yeah, I was talking about Akira, and I was talking about a dish that he made specifically. I forgot the name of it, but he made this dish that was specifically from where I live. And the place that I live in is barely like, again, when we talk about Indian stuff, it's not really brought up, right? Especially south of India is not that like crazy well represented. I mean, barely represented in media in itself. So I remember seeing this dish that he made, and I was genuinely like, holy shit, no way. They actually brought this in anime of all things. Like, when you talk about anime, it's like, we barely have Indian characters in anime. It's mostly Indian inspired, things that are inspired from Indian culture or whatever. Or it's like handful of Indian origin characters, right? So, no. There are actually like proper Indian characters out there. It's just like I think best example is like Aishwarya Rai from Digimon. She's like proper Indian, right? And then there's like characters like, again, earlier I talked about character from Darker Than Black, Amitabh Kapoor. He's also an Indian character. Like, they're not brown, and then they're not just brown. They're actually proper Indians, right?
Wait.
And yeah.
Darker Than Black in massive 2025. We really are in a recession. You going?
Bro, I fucking love Darker Than Black. I fucking love that show.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying you can't. But you going?
There's also another Indian character in Darker Than Black. I forgot her name. I think it was. I think she was actually a Tamilian. She had a Tamilian name. She's from like Tamil Nadu. I think it was something like Kantaswamy. I forgot her name, but she was also Indian. And again, we have like so much of these things that are like inspired from Indian stuff. Like, not exactly Indian, but also like Buddhism. A lot of things that are represented from Buddhist traditions as well. Like, I think best example of it is like Bisha Mountain from like Noragami. There's like Asura from like Soul Eater, right? These are all like stuff that are like inspired from the Indian like cultures.
So to Soul Eater invented school anime.
Oh my god.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, seeing that dish again, I just forgot what his name was, but it was. They actually had the actual like name from my place for it, and I genuinely was like flabbergasted. I was like, ain't no way they actually did this. This is actually insane. If I can find it, I'll talk about it later. But yeah, other than that, there's obviously one of my favorite characters I'll ever to have like being anime that is also like Indian. It was again Lancer of Red, who is Karna from the Indian mythology of Mahabharata. Karna is one of my favorite characters from the Mahabharata. So seeing him in like Fate, which I was a huge fan of, and to see him and many other Indian mythological characters was just like super cool. Like again, there was Karna, there was Arjuna. I think there was a few more. I don't remember exactly all the characters that from the Indian mythology, but seeing like characters from like Mahabharata and stuff was like super cool to me. Again, if Mahabharata gets adapted into an anime or turned into a movie or some shit, it would be extremely fire. I think we'll just have great PR after that. But yeah, I think that's about it for me.
We support, uptake in PR for South Asia, because Lord knows they need it.
Yeah, for sure.
Keke, you've been kind of quiet for this one. Any thoughts?
I already said I said RRR and stuff.
That's so crazy.
Oh, whoops.
That's insane.
I think in general everything's been discussed. That like we've had a pretty good conversation about this, so I have nothing more to add.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next question, which is a bit of a two for one. Which is, do you think the media we consume has a hand to play in creating or propagating the stereotypes of South Asians? And to further compound on that, what kind of tropes have you noticed mostly about South Asians in the media? Like, for example, we mentioned earlier the nerdy, dorky, awkward Indian guy.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a mixture of everything. For stereotypes specifically, it can be like a mixture of anything from like media to, I don't know, maybe politics, depending on how people want to view us. It kind of changes day to day. But yeah, I mean, like the example you mentioned, the nerdy, dorky, awkward Indian guy. That's a very, very common, very common trope, which unfortunately has kind of created that stereotype that Indians are just like, I don't know, inept with like romance and stuff like that, because they're so freaking awkward all the time.
Not Indians
But
being autistic coded in media. What the fuck?
I know, right? Crazy.
Not that representing
But,
me and my tism.
I was gonna say as well, like, what was I gonna say? Well, yeah, it's like it just also kind of puts us in. I mean, in the past at least, it's kind of put us in like specific roles. So like, I remember when I was when I used to do like on-screen acting at the time, I would only ever get like typecast as like people like the IT guy or like a taxi driver or a shop owner. And like, oh, I wonder why.
Yeah.
It's because like those stereotypes do have existed, and unfortunately that kind of created that I don't know, like I don't know, like that weird like outer image of like what people would automatically like view you as, even if they don't know you. It's based on like impressions. And when you do on-screen acting, like I don't really do it as much nowadays because it kind of does continue to put me in a box, unfortunately. So that's why I do voiceover mainly, but because it doesn't put me in a box. But yeah, unfortunately, like when it comes to like specific industries, first impressions and looks, does, I don't know, unfortunately does play like a huge part. And the reason why is because of stereotypes made from the past. So no, I do agree in the sense that media that we consume does have a hand to play in like, I guess propagating the stereotypes. I guess at least in the past. I think now it's definitely a lot better for sure. And no, not to say like every character will ever like never have like a single stereotype of it. Because, like, even with, like, Never Have I Ever, there's always, like, the stereotype of, like a dorky Indian girl, and also, like, the strict Indian parent, so, like, not every single thing will be, like, eliminated, because, like, there are some stereotypes that are based in, like, genuine fact sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, where it does come from sometimes. So,
Yep.
yeah, but it also just depends on, like, the delivery and, like, if is it played as like something to insult another culture or person, or
Yeah, it also
is it
depends on like
or
where it's coming from. Like, is this coming from someone who knows the culture, is a part of it, or is this coming from someone who's like literally just actively trying to just like poke fun at you, just punching down?
Exactly the way
intention matters.
100%.
Exactly the way.
Yes.
Yeah, the way I see it is it depends. Like, if you're either gonna tell a story or do you want to tell a joke? Like, what do you want to do?
Right. So well spoken. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
No, stop it.
Kiki, Shammy, Vikki. I mean, Vic, any thoughts?
Okay, so this one's I think more so. I think I'm gonna talk about rather than like the South Asian thing. I think I'm just gonna bog this down to like Bollywood in general, because recently I think Okay, so again, coming from the South and especially someone who consumes Bollywood stuff and someone who has been in Kerala as well. I want to talk about this one specific thing that happened with Bollywood. So 2 movies came out. One is called The Kerala Story, and the other is called Param Sundari. So in these 2 movies, as people from Kerala was represented horribly. And here's why. So in Kerala Story, there was this propaganda being pushed that people from Kerala are converting Hindus to Muslims, and they are getting them into terrorist groups. And in Padam Sundari, there was this the main heroine of the movie, the one of the main characters. She is of she's supposed to be from Kerala, and I think the actress herself was also wasn't a Malayali, sorry, from Kerala, but instead from I think from the north, and she speaks our language in such a terrible way that a lot as someone who knows the language, I did not understand what she was saying.
Not Selena Gomez speaking Spanish.
it was horrible, and obviously Bollywood got into hot water for both of those movies. I think Kerala Story was banned in Kerala, obviously, because again, it's just it's a propaganda movie basically. And with Padam Sundari, the actress was under fire for it, and all of those things actually, the Kerala Story movie was stemmed from a stereotype that. So basically, Kerala is one of the only states, or maybe few states in India that isn't Hindu dominated. Basically, it's a mix of Hindus, Christians, and Muslims, right? And especially in Kerala, there is a very strong demographic of Muslim people. And that movie stemmed from the stereotype okay, there's a lot of Muslim people here, so definitely all of these people, these Muslim people are converting Hindus into Muslims and getting them into terrorist shit. That stemmed from a stereotype. That whole movie that came from
problematic.
It is, because again, first of all, I did not watch the movie. I will not watch the movie because some of the clips that I've seen has been horrible, and I feel extremely insulted seeing that. So I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, it stemmed from that stereotype. It's the same thing with the Padam Sundari and how that character, that the heroine, how she presented herself in this very stereotypical way, and it was just horrible, right? And also, fun fact: when she was criticized on Instagram, a lot of people came up about it on Instagram. They got copyright taken down. They got DMCA'd.
What?
Oh damn.
Yeah, this was the production company was filing copyright claim on everyone who was talking bad about it. They were like, "Fuck this shit." It was
not to include clips of this. I'm just gonna include the post.
Oh god. But yeah.
No, just censor it out.
Subscribers, I don't need to be DMCA'd.
But yeah, again, that character is portrayed in an extremely stereotypical way. There's a lot of these cliches and stereotypical portrayals, and there's this one scene where this character, she's climbing a coconut tree.
What?
Oh boy.
Because coconut is a huge thing in Kerala. Like if you're there's a lot of coconut trees and stuff here, and because of that, they did it in a way that she's climbing. We do not climb coconut trees, by the way. I do not know how to climb a coconut tree. I don't think my dad knows. I don't think my mom knows. I don't think my sister knows either.
Have you seen those coconut trees?
Just a standard thing from Kerala, someone climbing a coconut tree.
Dude, they're so hard to fucking climb.
Kamala would be so happy about seeing that.
No, there's nothing to grab on the coconut trees. You have to actually be like an animal.
Yeah, so no, the thing is there are people that are trained to do it, obviously.
Yeah, like here we
the big way and
can climb coconut trees and you see them with a machete just chopping them down.
So again, these people are trained or they have some sort of gear to help them do it. As technology develops, obviously there's gears and whatnot. But yeah, we do not climb coconut trees, by the way. Trained people do. We do not. And again, this character was extremely over the top. Her accent was, again, as someone from the place and someone who speaks the language, I did not understand a word she was speaking. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
So
I gotta ask though, the actress who played the character, is she still working today, or would she get so much flack?
No, she's getting flack. The movie came out this September, by the way.
Oh damn!
Just
this is recent. Okay.
Yeah, this is very recent. This came out last month, and again, a lot of shit happened. She was meanwhile, from the Bollywood industry, we have this movie about a Punjabi wrestler and how she's training and how she becomes a big wrestler and all of that. I forgot the movie's name exactly, but I remember they casted an actual Punjabi, right, who speaks part Malayalam, and again, she was represented properly. Her culture was represented properly. Her language, she speaks the language, unlike in the other movie. And there was proper representation there. And there's many other movies where we had Punjabi culture. There's this movie called Punjabi House. There's this movie called Malu Singh. These are two movies where they have like Punjabi stuff going on, and again, they're represented properly in those movies. So again, when we're coming back to my point, the thing is these two movies came from a stereotype within our country. We're not talking about like the global idea of who Indians are. We're talking about just from like this Mollywood, all just from India that we're talking about. Yeah. And again, that sort of stereotype again. With Kerala's story, again, it's so difficult for me to even think that the movie was even greenlit and made, because then there is this whole stereotype being made about, the people from Kerala are making terrorists. It's absolutely stupid, by the way. And yeah, it's just, man, it's just so stupid. All right. And
I was not expecting this type of answer to come.
Again, it's just, yeah, this is just me talking from like purely just from the circle, like from our circle, from like the Bollywood sort of circle. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case that's going on, especially in our circle, I can't imagine how it is in the global scale, right? Where again, with a lot. Again, in your question, you were talking about like the tropes that you noticed about South Asians. Like again, earlier I think it was mentioned that a lot of us are represented as nerdy or
that's
back
like
in the
what
day.
I see mostly in I'm a Westerner, so I don't really consume much media that comes from.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Like maybe like the US PR and like maybe just a little bit of like the UK.
Okay, let me ask you this then. What is in your mind like the things that you see in an Indian? Like, okay, like the sort of like stuff that you see, the tropes or characteristics or whatnot. What do you see as like a Westerner?
Putting me on the spot. I thought this was about putting you guys on the spot. Shit. I guess as a Westerner, if we're talking strictly like television and music and movies and that kind of stuff, I would say mostly like a lot of these characters are viewed as ambiguously brown. Like, for example, Kamal Nanjiani's character in Eternals. I would see just like very nerdy, awkward characters like Raj and Baljeet. And that's just kind of it. Like, that's part of the reason why I actually made this my second episode, is because I was very curious about this representation.
No, man,
basically non-existent in the West.
Nah, man, I beat the nerdy stereotype of being the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. Like, take that.
Same shit, dog. No, it's just funny that Indians are represented as the sort of people who are super smart and especially good at maths. I fucking suck at maths, by the way. Like,
no, man, I'm so bad at maths, dude. My maths knowledge is very limited. But if you were to tell me, like, anything from the 0 to 12 times table, I got you, man.
Same shit, dog. Like that's it. And all of us are like programmers or some shit. Hell no, I tried that out. Fuck that shit, bro. Yeah. That shit ain't for me. So yeah, again, these sort of like things are coming from the sort of stereotype that are given to us, right? Like again, it's not something that is out of our. It's not something that is not out of our control or some shit. Because the truth is, in Indian culture, hell no, screw Indian culture and South Asian culture in itself. I think parents are extremely strict about us studying. And they're the whole, okay, whatever career you get, like you don't have an option in your career. You're either going to be a doctor or an engineer. These are things that actually happen, right?
Yeah, and Karthik was experiencing that. He's in the music industry, so a lot of his family members just kind of like give him shade for not being a doctor, an engineer, or any career of that sort of type.
Ironically, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one here who is even, because I used to be a computer science major. Ironic how that seems to be the case.
Damn.
Ain't no way, dog.
Yeah, you know what, Vic? You know what? When you ask that question, what do I think of when I envision Indian culture? What you see, what I think of it. Hold on. Something thinks I shouldn't say anything.
Well. Just uncle like his pops.
See how I
So-
didn't have to say it? Notice how I didn't. Huh?
I was gonna say something like, well, eating pani puri in the street. I'm kidding.
Hell no.
All right.
I can
So
say
clip
it. I
that.
can say it.
You're cooked.
No, please don't clip that. That's fucking awful.
Don't
Clip this.
All right, so
So
Shammy,
dumb.
you were saying, sorry.
No, that was it.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit. we
But
should-
yeah, I think I think I'm done. I was just yapping for a long while. I think we'll
Nah, it's
just pass
cool.
it
I
over
was
to
actually,
myself.
I was like, keep popping off, man. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, pop off, dude.
Yeah, we spent like almost 16 minutes on that question. Holy shit. Does anyone else have anything to add before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
So this question was asked before, so I cut it in half. Or actually was answered before, which was, how has South Asian representation
Gojo
improved?
reference.
Which all of you said it has improved in the last few years.
Yeah.
So the second half to that question was, how can South Asian representation be improved further upon that?
In my opinion, I think
Besides
the only
adapting the
thing.
Mahabharata.
Jesus Christ. I think the answer to this is, at least in my opinion, I think it's pretty simple in the sense that just keep giving more South Asian creatives and whether it's media or whatever, just more opportunities to
Yeah.
work and tell their stories, And the more that happens, the more things, little nuances and things like that get the chance to improve for other people, so people don't have to live in fear of their own skin or that kind of thing.
Right.
For me, I think the answer would be, I think this is more so, I'm not gonna, okay, again, this is from more of an Indian perspective, right? Again, I was talking about how, okay, if Mahabharata get adapted, we're gonna get good PR and whatnot, but there's also this one issue that I have with a lot of Indian stuff being like shown to the world, and it's just the mythologies for a lot of these. Like, say for example, you take an anime, right? There is the Ramayana anime, I think, that was. I think it was co-made with like India and Japan, and that is our sole thing. That is like, that is Indian, right? And again, recently there was this game that was coming out. It was just kind of like Soul-like, again based on Indian mythology. There's these anime projects that are being made, Indian anime projects that are made, and a lot of them are based on Indian mythology. And I'm like, can we do something else for fuck's sake? Like, no disrespect to Indian mythology. I fucking love Indian mythology. Like, Mahabharata is one of my favorite stories.
Right.
But I feel like if you can say a story outside of that, I think that would be extremely cool. Like, say for example, recently this movie came out in Mollywood. It was called Loka, and this movie is kind of like Mollywood's take on an MCU, basically.
Really? How
It's kind of it's like it's trying to be a superhero movie and is trying to have multiple movies later down the line and have interconnected storylines and all of that stuff. But this is also based on like mythology again, because all of these characters are folks from folk stories and stuff. There's this character called I'm blanking out again. The main female character. Her name's Chandra, but she's like this later in the movie. She's like, actually, this might be spoilers, so I'm not gonna say much. But again, cool movie. Check it out if you guys can. But yeah, all of these characters that appear as these heroes are actually from like our like Kerala's mythology and all of the folk tales that we have. And as much as I find that cool, part of me is also like, man, it would have been nice if we didn't involve like mythology or folktales. Because prior to that, there was this Mollywood movie that came out called Minnal Murali, which was also a superhero movie. And the whole thing is that this guy gets struck by lightning and he gets powers, lightning powers, and he can run fast and all that shit. Basically, he's Flash, but basically Flash, right? But the cool thing was it wasn't based on mythology or all of that. It was his own story, and I found that extremely cool. And one thing that I wish is that when we're when we're releasing all of these stuff to the Western audience or for a wider audience, I really wish that we step away from the mythos for a bit, try to tell our own stories, right? Like, yeah, I think one of the coolest movies that I saw recently was Monkey Man. I remember watching it, and Monkey Man was really good. It's again, Dev Patel did an amazing job on that movie, and
really expanding my watch list. Holy shit!
and yeah, that we need more stuff like that, you know. Monkey Man, like obviously Slumdog Millionaire, like one of the most popular like movies. I don't know if it's as popular as it is right now, but it was talked about for a long while, right? Even at a global scale. Movies like that, I want to see more of that shown to the Western audience and to see what India truly is rather than what we were or what we were, based on or whatnot. So I think that is a sort of representation that I want to see from like India, but also from South Asia as well. But yeah, that's about it, I think. I've been yapping again.
No, it's okay. You're good. Still in time. Shammy, Keke, Vikki, any thoughts?
Here's my thing. Should we let people of our cultures make more media? Yeah, sure. However, my artist roams free. He's also a fellow Filipino. I don't think we should actually. I'm thinking.
No, not the Shammy thumbnail artist.
I'm thinking I changed my mind on that stance. Hey,
I would have had him on here.
Damn, bro was in the bloodline right here.
So we could talk about Sidon and Link, dude, all day, dude.
Not him being a Sidon.
Oh my god.
Editor, please put the image on the video, please. I know you're the editor.
Joke's on you.
Editor,
I was gonna say I am the editor.
I know. Editor, please put the image on the screen so that we do the same.
Add 5 of them on the screen.
Honestly, I might just make that into the thumbnail. Holy shit.
Well,
editor,
that's
motherfuckers in here. That's for damn sure.
That's insane.
Editor, put all the 5 images upside down. Turn all them upside down.
Oh,
yeah.
God,
Make it
shut the fuck up. Editor, I'm gonna hate you guys.
Editor, put Natsu on screen right now.
Editor, put a wine boom effect.
Editor, put the entire Record of Ragnarok Ashura file on screen.
No, you're gonna get me copyright. You asshole. Oh my god, I'm sick.
Cry about it.
Keke, go on, Shammy. Keke.
Editor, please put this image on screen.
Shut the fuck up.
I think we've kind of really nailed nail on the head with all of this stuff, and I think this question has been touched on before by some of the stuff that I've said, so I'm good.
I bet. Okay, so anyone have any additional closing thoughts on this question before we move on to the last one?
No, sir.
All right, so
okay, sorry, I have to wait, hold up, because
He said,
I have to go to the hold up, wait a minute. I had to go to the one of the previous questions where I was talking about like the best representation of our country, because earlier I was talking about a dish, I totally forgot what it was. So in Food Wars Season 2, Akira made this dish called Kori Warta Curry. That's the proper pronunciation. So Kori Warta Curry is literally fried chicken curry in our language.
Dog, I love curry.
Yep.
And this was how it was presented in the anime. It was not like the fried chicken curry. No, it was literally Kori Warta Curry. And I remember seeing that recently, and I was like, holy shit, ain't no way. They even got the name right. And again, it's a South Indian cuisine.
Like a dish? Or
no, it's like a
curry or like
it's proper curry.
Ah, bet.
Yeah, it's like curry with like chicken. That's it.
Oh.
But
that doesn't narrow it down. There's a lot of curry with chicken in it.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's a lot of curry chicken in it. So I was like,
so basically, if I'm going in depth with it, basically, it's it's a fried chicken curry, but it's mostly made with like some of the stuff that you find only in Kerala, like coconuts and spices and all of that stuff, and those sort of, and that's how it's usually made. And again, It's just super cool.
Hell yeah.
I think it was like I think the recipe was like cayenne, chili peppers, onions, curry leaves, and spices. That's about it. That's what the anime. Spices. Hell no. Hell no. That's not a stereotype that we want. Anyways, yeah, this was like a super cool representation for me specifically, because seeing that sort of like Kerala getting represented was extremely insane. And again, a lot of the representation that we get of Indians is a general representation of all the cultures that we have, but just seeing that specific culture being represented is like super cool. And I want to see that more with all sorts of media, whether in like not just like this generalized version, but like, you know, like all the Kerala, the people from Kerala, people from Tamil Nadu, people from Karnataka, all of those people get that sort of representation and their culture getting represented. But yeah, that's about it. All right, back to
So I'm guessing, anyone else have anything to add real quick before we move on to the last one?
Nope, I'm all good.
Alright, bet. So this last one is a bit of a loaded question, and that's because part of the reason why I make this series is because I want writers, me being a writer myself as well, to have a place where they can go to see like if it's okay to write these types of characters, what are, you know, some advice. So the last question here is, what advice would you give to writers watching this video on creating South Asian characters? Also, what struggles do you see some non-South Asian writers have when writing these types of characters?
Once again, the mic didn't pick up what I was saying. The final part of the last question is, do you think non-South Asians can write South Asian characters?
To answer that question, or all of them, I should say, I guess it depends on the story, but honestly, I would say maybe don't overthink it too much. I would just say write them as normal, regular people, and or regular people, or in the world you're building. You know, if it's like some, you know, if it's something grounded, you know, keep them grounded characters. If it's crazy, wacky bullshit, you know, make him crazy, wacky characters. You know, it really does depend. But yeah, don't feel like forced or anything to, I don't know, you know, force like the culture down the entire story, unless you plan on like involving the culture in like something kind, or like if it's part of the story, you know, because like if it's done like a specific way, if it feels fake and it's pandering, then you're gonna end up offending more people, because it just means that you're trying to tick a box instead of actually caring about the culture. So I would say just maybe don't overthink it too much. And I do think non-South Asian people can write South Asian characters, but I guess it also depends on like the experience. Because if it's like a non-South Asian person trying to write the experience of like a story of the experience of a South Asian character, that's gonna be really tough. And I wouldn't recommend it. I think you should definitely like get like some insight, or at least ask at least like specific people, because like there are certain like lived experiences that, you know, that they will never truly live, that I will probably never live either. So there's nothing wrong with like going out there and asking, you know, just like it's better than making something half-assed and offending everybody, you know.
Do your research.
Yeah, do your research, but don't overthink it too hard. As long as you make it like your characters, you know, just normal people, like many people have written like other characters of other ethnicities in the past, then yeah, dude, I think you're in a nice place, and it creates more range for more talent, and like whether that's writing, acting, producing, it just makes more opportunities in the future, because it shows that, you know, South Asian characters, they're you know, they're people, they have layers, they have real life struggles, they have things to overcome, or things they like and dislike, you know, that kind of stuff, instead of like a one-note joke that's like a punchline, you know. There's more to it than that. So it might sound really weird and vague advice, but, you know, do your research, but don't overthink it, you know. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I like what you said about how just if you're gonna create a character that just so happens to be South Asian, then it is what it is. Like you just add them to your story, and then their background might not have anything to do with the story. And then to the point that if it does, if you are trying to create a story with the background of the character being a root of the storyline, then you should either ask for lived experiences from other people, or get an expert on board to help you write that part too.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm going with like the similar answer that both of them, especially Wiki gave. Do your research. Like, I think the best way to do it is just not just read, but consume a lot of like Indian media as well. I mean, I'm saying Indian specifically, but South Asian media. But I think I'll just be specific on this one. Like, if you're like taking, for example, if you want an Indian character, right? Don't just consume Bollywood movies, please. They suck.
Mm-hmm.
they fucking
so many Bollywood movies here.
Hey man,
yeah.
Hey, Doom 1 to 3 is fucking peak, man. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, man. All right. I'll. You know what? Fair. I have nothing to say to that. But again, just especially modern Bollywood movies, most of them kind of suck. But again, just don't watch Bollywood movies. There's a lot of movies that's coming out, a lot of regional movies that's coming out. Again, I just talked about Mollywood and Tollywood and all of that. Again, RRR is the best example of a movie that is coming out not just from the Bollywood circle, but from somewhere else. Like that. Well, there's a lot of really good movies. Again, kind of plugging my region here, but Mollywood is like one of the, like a lot of people from India say that Mollywood is one of the industries that is just putting out some of the best movies out in India because of the way that they're directed and some of the stories that is being told. There's this one movie that I watched called Kumbhalangi Nights, which is just fucking spectacular. Y'all should watch it. I'll just put it down in the chat later. And
watching this and just like writing down all these movies that you've recommended.
Yeah, that's extremely cool, man. But yeah, there's like so many cool movies out there that show all the parts of who we are, and just consume those. Have an idea, but just don't stereotype us. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, but real, man.
Just don't stereotype us. Don't fucking scrap the nerdy shtick. We ain't nerds anymore. We are all dumb by this point.
Fair, man.
Now we're all dumb.
But a lot of us aren't doctors and engineers anymore, or programmers. We're doing other stuff as well. And don't just have a general idea. Don't stereotype us. Do your research. Consume a lot of media that we make. Again, I'm talking not read the Mahabharata, read the Rama stuff. But again,
I agree.
But yeah, again, from a South Asian scale, like consume media, I think that really gives you a good idea. Again, anime, for me, it gave me a lot of idea about like Japanese culture and how it works. Not from the shonen stuff, but more from like the slice of life animes that I've watched. I think I've had a really great idea of Japanese culture and how they do things, and all of the etiquettes and all of that stuff. And just like that, you can learn stuff from other South Asian media and all of that stuff as well. So if you're doing your research, check those out. Watch some cool ones. Enjoy it, of course. And yeah, just cook, I guess. That's all.
Yeah. Any thoughts,
Do
Shammy?
your research.
Do your research.
Cite
Yeah.
your sources.
Yeah. Don't just chat GPT the shit.
Oh, hello.
No, don't do it.
It's already over.
Oh yeah, fun fact. So recently I was
Fun
like.
fact, I use AI. What?
Yeah, I use
Is
ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT to write these questions.
Oh my god.
Guys, confirmed. From the
That would have been a plot twist of the fucking
Quagsire
century,
smell.
dude. That would have been crazy. I would have respected it if, like, damn, you got us all here to answer ChatGPT questions, dude. That would have been crazy.
No, I'm a YouTuber. I, purposefully wasted time coming up with these questions with a friend of mine who said, nah, I'm not
This
showing up
podcast
today.
is powered by AI.
Oh my
God, that would be horrible.
You can hear the turbines behind me wasting all your energy. You see electrical
But no,
turbine? Yeah, fuck you, that's why.
The newest a literal nerd video today is going to be made with Sora AI. Make sure you like and
God.
subscribe.
But no. So talking about AI, recently there was this manga, a series that is being made purely with AI, and I saw that, and that was being promoted very heavily, and I saw that, and I was like, fuck now. So stay away from that sort of shit. If you're watching it, watch movies made by humans and not by AIs.
Yeah. Preach.
Yeah.
Watch movies made by what? Oh.
What did he say?
Oh, hell no.
Alright, thank you all so much for coming over and like answering these questions. Holy shit. I'm like sorry for postponing the recording session like 3 times. That was
Dude, you're
unprecedented,
no, you're
some
fine,
might
man.
say.
No, it's all good. I'm glad we were able to do it, man. Thanks for having us.
Everyone's channels and social medias will be linked in the description below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if we taught you something new. And I hope you enjoyed. Much love. Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
I hereby think Vikram Rajan should be Prime Minister of New Zealand. And you're just gonna have to deal with it.